Me, my best friend Ruby, and her big brother Angus were all home alone one night, having a sleepover. Ruby's parents were not home at the time. They were out on a dinner date, so we were home alone until around midnight. We were doing our usual things, like posting Musical.lys, playing music, and watching Vines on computers and our phones, generally just enjoying ourselves. Everything was going great, until we suddenly heard a loud alarm going off. It was like a tornado siren was going off right next to the house, but they didn't live by one. We looked outside, but there were no emergency vehicles out there to be making that sort of noise, so we had no idea where it was coming from. We shut all the blinds and tried to ignore the noise. Then we called Ruby's dad and mom, informing them about the strange and unfamiliar alarm coming from outside. They said it was probably the neighbor's aftermarket car alarm, but why was it blaring in the middle of the night? Sure enough, we went right back to having fun. But about 15 minutes later, Ruby kept saying that she heard twigs snapping and footsteps coming from outside. I didn't really care, as there was a lot of wind from outside, and like her dad said, the neighbors could be out and about, trying to fix their car alarm, or maybe she was just trying to scare us. Nevertheless, we tried to calm her down. We began playing some Xbox One together, and time began to flow by quickly. At one point, Angus got up to go to the kitchen to grab a glass of water, but then, not too long afterwards, he came back tiptoeing into the room, no glass of water in his hand, and he looked like he just saw a ghost. Right away, I asked him, "What's wrong?" In a hushed whisper, he said to us, "There's someone turning the front doorknob. They're trying to get in the house." Me and Ruby both froze when we heard this. I walked over behind Angus, and I peeked down the hallway to see the front door. And sure enough, the doorknob was turning. And thank God it was locked. It kept turning for about 20 seconds. Whoever was turning it was doing it in a way that they didn't want to be caught or heard. This chilled me to the bone. What if we forgot to lock that door? We called Ruby's mom this time, and luckily she answered right away. We told her that someone was trying to get in the house. She told us that it'd be fine, and that she was on her way, that she'd contact the police. Then she told us to check every door and window to make sure it was all locked. We did as she told us, and we tried to stay calm until the police came. We were terrified, huddling in their bedroom. All three of us could now hear someone walking around the house, slowly, crunching into leaves and twigs, trying their best to conceal their movement, but they were very obvious. They began turning the knob to the back door. Then they started checking every window. I was so horrified. What if they got in? What if they got to a window that was broken and didn't latch properly? They could get in at any second. Instead of calming down, I was too busy being paranoid. I saw that Angus was looking through the window blinds. I think he was trying to get a peek at this burglar. We suddenly heard the footsteps coming this way, and as soon as we did, Angus turned around and tried his best to muffle a scream. "What's wrong, man? What's happening?" We both asked him. Angus could barely breathe out the words. He's carrying a machete." Goosebumps covered my entire body. With a weapon like that, would a simple burglar or thief be carrying a machete? What did this guy have in mind for us? We stayed quiet in that bedroom, pretending that nobody was home. The last thing we wanted was to be spotted by this maniac. A few minutes passed by, and we heard the most horrifying sound I've ever heard in my life. It was a massive slam at the front door, as if he was trying to break it down. Then came another. I knew it. If he really wanted in, he was going to make his own way. Just then, police lights lit up the front yard, and we heard footsteps running away from the house. We were safe. The police actually made it in time. All my fears slowly began to drain. An officer came inside to check on us, and he escorted us out to the police car. Before he could drive us to the station, as some other officers arrived on the scene, I got a good look at the front door, and what I saw chilled me to the bone. The man had been slamming his machete into the door. There were deep gashes in the wood of it, and he nearly got inside. So far from what I've heard, they haven't caught the guy. I don't think they saw him run away when they pulled up. Either that, or the priority to the officer was us kids. Well, all in all, I'm just happy to be alive.